Hello, my name is Sid and I am a digital content creator at Yucca Labs. One of the content formats that we have been working on at Yucca Labs is this mini podcast series. Through mini podcast episodes, we share with you some of what we have learned about technology, digital platform development, and content creation for digital businesses. In this podcast, I would like to talk to you more about podcasts, what they are, why should your company consider launching one, and how your company can do that. Before getting to it, let's get to know a little bit more about the characteristics of podcasts and what added value they could bring to the table. Firstly, podcasts are consumed on a secondary level. This means that while videos require the person watching to sit and focus on what they are seeing and hearing, podcasts allow you to do something while listening to a podcast. Understanding this helps you tailor the content and the format of your podcast for it to be a better fit for your podcast consumers. Secondly, podcasts are usually long format pieces of content. This means that podcasts allow you to truly dig deeper into the different layers of the topic at hand. For example, to host a series of interviews with key people in your field, the discussions would most likely require relatively a longer duration to dig into the topics and reach some useful and valuable information. Podcasts let you do that, and podcast consumers appreciate that. So do not hesitate to take your time if you think the topic and/or the discussion at hand are worth it. Thirdly, podcasts could be done in different formats. This means that when launching your podcast, there are different ways on how you can do that depending on your needs, goals, and resources. For example, you can host monthly discussion about a specific theme that your company masters. Another example is this mini podcast series where a team member shares briefly and precisely a few ideas about a specific topic. A third example would be hosting a periodic behind-the-scenes podcast between team members to discuss the challenges, opportunities, and the experiences that your team has gone through. This variety of models that podcasts allow you to adopt give you enough flexibility and optionality to fit your expertise to the right format. Now that we have a better idea on what podcasts are, let's discover why your company should consider launching its own podcast right now. Number 1. Launching a podcast helps you be the reference. Launching a podcast is like starting a conversation. Providing value and sharing expertise put your company in a position where it becomes one of the references in the field. This is extremely important because like that, when a business or an individual needs a service that you propose, they would be more likely to come to you over anyone else because you are the reference. Your expertise is out there, accessible, structured, and it clearly shows that your company knows what it's doing. So number 1, launching a podcast helps you be the reference and thus increase your sales. Number 2, launching a podcast helps you increase traffic on your website. What is obvious is that podcasts are pieces of content. Creating content for your business allows you to increase traffic to your website. This would be part of your marketing strategy. Content of value specifically, attract different individuals who want to learn, explore, and discover more about the topics at hand. Providing that value through content creation makes the audience come back to your podcast for that provided value. This reach and engagement on your website cannot be anything but a positive thing for your business. More visitors equals more listeners equals more visitors, and both more listeners and more visitors equals more chances to sell your products and services. Number 3, launching a podcast helps you connect deeply with your customers. Launching a podcast for your company could mean a lot of things. But one thing for sure is that if you are considering hosting discussions, your audience would for sure develop a deeper connection with your company. Listening to your team discuss challenges, opportunities, and experiences would make your company human. People appreciate it when they realize that your company is a human, managed by individuals exactly like them. This connection with your customers increases the retention rate, develops the value of your company's brand, and increases its network. The impact of this might not be perceived instantly, but it will be as time goes on and you continue producing your podcast. Here's an additional tip. Producing podcasts allows you to enrich your social media content greatly. Consider the following. When you launch your podcast, take some time and extract some clips from the podcast and share them periodically on your social media channels. For example, if you host an interesting conversation with an expert in the domain, revisit your podcast once it's published and extract 4 to 5 micro pieces of content and use them to promote your podcast, services, and expertise on social media. Like this, by producing one podcast, you get content for an entire week to keep your social media calendar rich and vibrant. Therefore, and at the end, podcasts are such a powerful type of content that could strengthen the position of your company in the market. It highlights your company's expertise, connects deeply with your customers, increases traffic to your website, and helps you become a reference in your domain. We have reached the end of this episode. We have seen a general overview on what podcasts are and how they can help us develop our digital communication strategy. I hope it was useful, and like always, thank you for listening and see you in the next episode.